Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Jordan and today I'm here with a haul video. I know it's so crazy. This is like the second haul video I think I've ever done in life on my channel. And that's pretty much because I get the majority of my books from the library, as you guys know. But I have quite a collection to show you guys of some books. Some of these I've read, so I know you guys are probably like, where was our August wrap up? One, let me tell y'all something. I finished a total of 2 books last month in August. And I say finished, I started a lot more than that, but that's how many I finished, but I accumulated way more than that. So anyways, let me stop yapping and let's get into the books. So I'm going to start with the books that I actually purchased. As you guys know, I say I get primarily I read all my books from the library, but when I really love a book, I purchase it. So these are the 2 books that I actually have purchased. And one of them, you guys know I freaking loved, was The Opposite of Always. And I've been meaning to purchase it. And I was like, I'm just going to wait till the end of the year. But I really want to have this in case people ask me for a good book to read, because this one brought me so much joy. So I was like, I just have to own it. So if I didn't convince you enough before to get it, make sure you get it, because you know a book is good if after you read it, you purchase it. So. And then Don't Call Us Dead. This was on my top of 2018. I meant to purchase this, and I swore I did purchase this, but I guess I never did. So I ended up purchasing this to own. And yeah, so now I have my own copy, and I've been referring and rereading the poems. This is such an amazing collection, so definitely as well pick this one up. I'm getting into the books that were sent to me, which it's a stack. So y'all get ready. A lot of these are some upcoming releases, and some of these I have already read. So let me go ahead and start with The Stars and the Blackness Between Them. You're going to hear a lot more from me on this. You guys know I have a ton of books to talk about, but I'm going to spend a little time on this anyways, because this was so amazing. Like, I don't even know how to describe how deep, when I say deep, like deep into my soul, like this read to me. This is the one that I will say you will purchase this and will not regret. Like, request this at your library and purchase it. It's just that good. So The Stars and the Blackness Between Them is told from 2 different perspectives, or 2 different voices, one from a young Trinidadian girl and one from a young American girl in the States. Somehow their worlds collide, and they both are going through some things, and they love each other through it. And this book is just beautiful. Like, I felt this book, like every word I felt. I literally cried in so many public places while I was reading this. It's not even funny. And a lot of the tears, although there was sadness in it, a lot of it was beauty and just like, like I'm gonna have to really deep dive into this book, but just know I loved this book, like loved it. Mwah. Get this. All right, so I have an October release that I am so excited to read. So this next book I am so excited to read. This is War Girls. What the flip at this cover? If this isn't the baddest look, like, I'm gonna have to recreate this look, like probably when I get these braids out, which is gonna be a while. Maybe I'll do it with these braids. This is based in the year 2172, and it's like following 2 sisters, and this is based in like Nigeria, and it's like war struck, and they're willing to fight at any cost to see a better hope for a better future. Like, there's a lot of climate change, there's nuclear disasters and different stuff like that. So it's like an imaginative future. But what I loved was the author. That's why I'm going to link the video of him describing it, because they described the book, I believe, as inspired by their mother, I believe, and the Civil War that she lived through. So I'm going to try to find that video and link it below, so that way you could get a better taste of this. I haven't even started this, but I'm so excited, and I'll definitely keep you guys posted on this one. Okay, so next up, Slay. Now, this is a young adult book, which you guys, the marketing on this has been like really, really, really good. Like, it's very interesting when you see like the marketing for certain books. I really enjoyed this. So this is like VR gaming world. There is a young girl who develops this virtual reality game for Black people, for Black kids, for a safe space for them to play, because she loves video games. But, you know, as you'll read the story, those aren't always necessarily safe or welcoming spaces. So she invents Slay as a place where you can do all of that. But some unfortunate situation happens that kind of involves her game, which then makes her game appear to be racist, is the narrative that is being formed. And it's kind of her combating that throughout that and trying to protect her game in an area where people who are marginalized can feel seen, essentially. And it's much more than that. When I first started the book, I was like, okay, this is an okay book. But as you get deeper into the story, it starts getting really, really good. Like, I tweeted the other day, like, don't start like reading a book at like 10 p.m. thinking you're gonna finish a few pages. That's what happened to me. I was already like probably like 100 pages in, and I was like, I'll just finish like maybe 25 more pages. I ended up finishing the rest of the book that night. Like, I didn't sleep. So yeah, when it gets good, it really does get good. I really would like Slay to be a real video game. Like, I would get into video games if it's becomes a real video game. But I may talk about that a little bit more, but I really need this to become a real video game. And if you read Ready Player One, it's not like that to me. It is in the sense that it's about video games and the world becomes real and you hear all that. But, you know, this touched on so many dynamics, like so many this is becoming a review video. This is supposed to be a haul video. That's why you probably shouldn't haul books that you already read. But yeah, I enjoyed this. I'm going to jump around for a little bit. I know I've been doing a lot of my advanced readers copies, but I also want to show you guys what I picked up from the library, because one of the books is a book that I finished and I loved. You guys know I like Jasmine Guillory and I like romance. And this was The Wedding Party, which I was super excited for. And this got me out of my reading funk. Like, I was picking up books and just not finishing them and putting them away. And then I picked this up and I couldn't put it down. And after reading this, I read like 3 books in 2 weeks. It like broke that curse for me. So this was just fun, and it was just a fun read. If you are familiar with Jasmine Guillory, the author of The Wedding Dates and The Proposal, you kind of already know some of the characters are within this. But the cool thing about it is you never have to read the other book. Like, even though it's part of like that series, you don't need to read it. It wasn't my favorite one within the selection, but it was really fun. It was like between Theo and, I forget, was it Maddie? Yeah, Maddie and Theo's romance. And I won't go too much in depth with this, but it's another one of those, you know, you think you don't like the person and then you end up liking the person. And yeah, even though you know exactly what's going to happen, it is just such an engaging ride. And I like that it showed like Theo, their preconceived notions about each other, and how Theo comes off as like this asshole or this a-hole, and he kind of acknowledges that, you know, even though he's kind-hearted, he does come off arrogant, and it explores those reasons as to why. And yeah, I just really enjoyed this. So next up, this is a library copy, which I think I'm going to purchase this because I'm like halfway through. And this is LaGuardia, or LaGuardia, like, you know, the airport in New York. And my freaking goodness, like, I can't even, like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I really can't even. The graphics in this, I'm sorry for being so loud. I might have to turn my mic down. The graphics in this, oh no, I lost my bookmark place. This ish is insane. Like, I don't even think it could focus. Like, you're not even gonna, I can't even put it into words. I'm almost certain I'm gonna get this because it's just beautiful, like beautiful. And why does the graphics look so much like the author? Like, the main character, Future, looks so much like the author. And I'm just like, I can't even, like, it's tackling immigration and Earth and all. It's like aliens, people, immigration, Nigeria, United States, amazingness, kind of like the banter that's within this is so just genius, almost satirical in some ways. I'm only like not even halfway through, like a third through, but not only is the dialogue really good and the story really gripping, of course, if it's a graphic novel, you need the graphics to be on point, and the graphics are on point. And this is just like, yes, I am all here for this. Like, all here for this. So yeah, get this, because I'm getting this after renting from the library, so you know it's real. Next up, this book I'm actually currently reading, and this is came out this month. It is Everything Inside: Stories with Edwidge Danticat. And you guys may have heard me talk about Edwidge Danticat on my channel before. I loved the short story collection Creek Crack. Like, that's one of my favorite short story collections. I love quite a bit from Edwidge Danticat. Like, there's some books that were misses for me, but on the short story front, it's always like a win for me. And this is starting out to prove it. I'm like 4 stories in, and I think there's 8 stories total, so I guess I'm like halfway through. And this is really good. Edwidge Danticat, she primarily writes the stories of either Haitians or Haitian Americans or people across the Caribbean. Like, that's kind of like the focus area of at least of the books that I've read from her. And this is no different. And the voices within these stories, like, they grip you. But this is another one where I will just have to deep dive in my review. So this was really good. This, so far, I haven't finished it, but this has been really good so far. Speaking of Edwidge Danticat, while I was there picking that up, I realized that I had never read this, and this was Edwidge Danticat After the Dance, and it's actually a walk through Carnival in Jacmel, Haiti. And I picked this up because I have never been to Carnival in Haiti, and this is like pretty much where my mother grew up and all that, and I feel like that will be really cool to learn about or read about. And yeah, I just picked this up because I was like, yeah, I should read about this. So I'll let you guys know how this one pans out. So next up is A River of Royal Blood, and this I actually never heard anything about prior to receiving the advanced reader's copy. The back of it has me intrigued, as well as the cover. It's about like 2 sisters, and like they kind of have to battle to the death. It's a North African inspired fantasy, and I'm like, I like fantasy. I'm gonna give this a read, and I'll let you guys know how this one pans out as well. Now this one is obviously Stories from My Timeline by Akilah Hughes. It's about how she turned, her hobby and what she does on the screen into a career on the screen, and the career that she built from it. So I actually looked up some of her videos and like some of her information to see a little bit more about her, because I actually had never even heard of her. So once I did, I was like, that's really dope. Okay, so I'm intrigued. I'm gonna read this and see how the stories pan out, and see if there's anything that I can apply to my personal life, being that, I do this as my hobby. I would love to get paid for this, but until then, I'm just doing it out of pure love. So if I could do it out a little bit more than that, it'd be really dope. So I'm interested to see if there's actually applicable nuggets that are dropped in here that I could apply to my life, and if I find it useful. I'm so clumsy. So the next book is Stargazing. The graphics in this look really, really good. Like, really good. It's about like 2 young friends, or kids who become friends, and one of the kids says like they are like can do extraterrestrial or something with like something. I'm like doing the worst synopsis ever, but something happens like in one of the kids' life where they start turning to Moon for these special powers because they're desperate on fixing like a situation that's happening in their life. I'm paraphrasing, and I hope I'm getting that right, but I'm hoping to finish this because I love graphic novels, and for this to be a kids graphic novel, I am hoping that I can see if I can recommend this, and after I read this, I'll definitely be passing this on to one of my friends with kids or one of my coworkers who has kids. So excited to crack this baby open. Next book that I'm talking about, I actually did not finish, or I've just barely started it, and this is already nominated for the 2019 Carnegie Medal, I guess. And I started it. It seems like it's going to be really good. So the interesting thing about this is a story about a young girl whose father passes away, and that kind of shapes the way her life is looking like right now. She was born in Zimbabwe but left and lived in England or the UK, and now after her father passed, she is back in Zimbabwe, and she is trying to adjust essentially. I've only gotten through the first, how many pages? The first 40 pages. So I'm very early in this. It has me gripped so far. So we'll see how this one pans out. The next copy I received is All of Us with Wings. Now this came out a little bit ago, and I tried to read the advanced reader's copy, and there were just too many grammatical errors for me. And that's one of the things that I think is the thing when you get those advanced reader copies. Like, you're excited about them, but sometimes I think it does a better job or more just if you actually read the finished copy, you know, so you know what it's like. So I will eventually get to this, but when I started it, it was hard for me to get into the story because I was like, wait. Is it because there's grammatical issues, or is it just because I can't keep up? Because it was following a young girl who basically really doesn't have anyone else to turn to, and she becomes a part of this group of teens that are basically surviving on their own and doing their own thing, and it's like this baddie female empowerment and vibe that I get. But I was, again, pulled out of the story too many times to ever really fully give this a read. So I'm hoping I can get to this, but as you see, I have a whole bunch, so we'll see. Whew, guys, I talked about a lot of books. I am like, oh my God, that was a lot. So I hope that was helpful, especially since some of the books I've already started or read, and that can give you an idea versus me just showing you all these books that I got and some of them being trash. So the books that I think you should purchase are clearly the ones that I already purchased. So those are Don't Call Us Dead, which I'll put on the screen as a kind of wrap up. Don't Call Us Dead, The Opposite of Always, both which I purchased. Clearly, The Stars and the Blackness Between Them, which I loved. And LaGuardia, that graphic novel. I may be forgetting something else, but those are the ones that I would say that you just trust me, and just those are good buys. Just buy them. But I hope this video was fun, this haul video. I know I don't do these often because these videos are super long, and I'm already at the thought of having to edit this. But it was good getting back in front of the camera and talking to you guys. There's more on the way. The reason why it's been 2 weeks is because the past 2 weeks I have been out of town. One of those reasons has been for Booknet Fest. So stay out on the lookout for that. And yeah, I got lots of other stuff coming in the works. I'm thinking of a favorites video to kind of give you guys. I'm rambling. Anyways, I love you guys. Let me just get out of here. Bye. Ooh, child. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. Ooh, do I look good? Do I look right? Hey. Can I get it all in one frame? Can I get it?